Ana Paulina Luna confirms the use of code words in Epstein emails like jerky, has seen the unredacted files describing specific ages like 11 years old and permission to kill. Reveal they were sent by women who were alleged victims. And this is a cluster F. This is an absolute cluster F. This is the thing that complicates everything. I don't know how to explain the level of complexity that this arrived. I looked directly at the emails that have been widely circulated pertaining to the age 11, the permission to kill email. Those ones were sent by alleged victims, women. And some of them pertaining to jerky, whatever that is a code word and it's weird. Some of those emails were sent by women who claim to be victims. And we also have the whoops that we were talking before. So this is a problem where we have the misinformation inside of the Epstein files. We got the fluff. We have the mistakes made by either mistakes or on purpose made by both the FBI and the DOJ. And now we have this.
There are a lot of viral mentions about the 11-year-old, 10-year-old, people sending these photos to Jeffrey Epstein. Did you uncover who sent those photos of little children?
I looked directly at the emails that have been widely circulated pertaining to the age 11, and I have it written down on my notes, the permission to kill email, the Snow White, the littlest girl was naughty, etc. And those ones were directly sent by alleged victims.
So the most disturbing and darkest and sickest emails were sent by women to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, and some of them pertaining to, jerky, whatever that is. Yeah. And
so just quick follow. What is jerky? Like, what is that exactly?
I think that's the question. I don't know if it's like, and again, like going into specifically just based on what this is, I don't know.
It's a code
the
word.
Context is
it has to be a code word. Nobody.
Okay, jerky. One thing is, I don't know, sounds a lot like jerk off, which, by the way, was one of the Jeffrey Epstein's favorite pastimes during his massages. I apologize for being so crude and direct, but that could be like that. Some people have said that could be human flesh as well. The problem is that you only have a code word for human flesh, but don't have absolutely any other clue that points to that. That is the problem. So I have no problem with starting the possibility that, of course, these are code words: jerky, pizza, hot dog, melted cheese. What else? Whoops. Which one? There's another one in there. Could be code words for something, but again, what other evidence do you have that whatever is that code word points to is related to? You have evidence of something, and some people are saying, okay, but if so many are out there implying that there was not this actually trafficking happening in the island, trafficking to other people, then why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail? And I have to remind you that Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail precisely because of trafficking girls and women to Jeffrey Epstein. That is the reason why she is in jail. Not because of trafficking to other people, which is the thing that we want to find out about. And the other thing that makes this, that adds another layer of complexity, and if there were women trafficked to men, as I ask the question that, can be unsettling, but the question still stands, were these women paid for and were of legal age? Because if they were of legal age and paid for, that was just plain old prostitution. That I'm not saying that it's not a crime. Actually, it's not a crime in some places, but it's not the level of saying, okay, you're sending girls, trafficking girls to be tortured and murder and who knows what else. Yeah, because there are levels to these crimes. So again, this we're looking at this in a way that I don't know how to grasp. We are close to well, we have been studying this case for some time. Still don't know how to grasp it in its entirety, because this is not as simple as black or white, and many people are taking advantage of the fact that this is not black or white, both politicians and influencers at the same time.
It talks about jerky like this.
Weird. Yeah, it's a code word and it's weird, but either which way.
We have beef jerky in the studio, okay? So, like, you know, Klein and I know, I've never spoken to my team or anything. There's no correspondence of me talking about jerky this obsessively. There's hundreds of emails about jerky.
It's a code word, and some of those emails were sent by women, and women that specifically claim to be victims.
Then I would ask, it is very simple. I'm just going to, like, maybe there's an idea here. If Ana Paulina Luna took a good look at the thing and she realized that there's jerky emails, so many of these jerky references were in emails sent by the victims, I don't know, maybe this is a suggestion to anybody who could be in charge of this. Can you, I don't know, maybe in private ask the victims what jerky was about? But at the same time, with the amount of victims that are grown women right now, and how rumors spread, don't you think that if they wrote those emails and they were mentioning jerky over and over again, the meaning of the jerky would have transpired by now? But nobody knows for sure. People are saying, oh yeah, they were practicing cannibalism there, which, by the way, that is one of the points of one of the emails. They say, look, there's this guy called the Cannibal. And it turns out that in New York City, there was a restaurant called the Cannibal, which, guess which was one of the specialties? Yeah, beef jerky. And they were mentioning several times this restaurant in New York City called the Cannibal, which one of the specialties was beef jerky. So I am not saying that that is the only clue about the beef jerky thing. I am not saying that that is the only reference. But yeah, at least in one instance, it was about an actual place, which it's odd, right, to call your restaurant right like that. But not exactly illegal. Maybe the FBI maybe the FBI took a look at that just in case. So many questions.
So you're saying that these victims are being groomed into
there's
becoming
evidence.
Traffickers themselves.
There's evidence of that. Yes,
Yeah, okay.
I'm not saying all the.
So they're not actually victims. They're not actually victims,
Wait a second. Yeah. Benny did the thing. They're not actually victims. No, they are victims. I'm going to say something about that right now.
I think that there are some that are actual victims, but I also think that at a certain point, if you, depending on the severity of what you're doing, I think that there's a gray area and then you become a co-conspirator.
Yeah, that is a big issue right now. Because we have spoken about this. Girls that were underage, that were trafficked by other girls. There was this Ponzi scheme of girls that started with Ghislaine Maxwell, of course, and she goes and finds two women, and then the women bring more girls, and maybe younger and younger girls and younger girls. And they go and do these massages to Epstein. They get paid, and they maybe they need the money. I'm not going to judge anybody here. I'm not going to say that I don't know what kind of upbringing they come from. And after they become of age, they become adults, then Epstein tells them, you want to make more money, then recruit more girls for me. And not going to say that every single one of them, we can't say that all of them did that, but everybody knows that some of them did that. That what makes it more complex again. Because, yeah, you basically start as a victim, yes, but are I don't know if some people use the word graduated. I don't like to use that word, but you are like switched. You make the switch to co-conspirator because you actually begin to help traffic other girls to Jeffrey Epstein, and yeah, that is absolutely despicable. But at the same time, I can't say there's a big problem in here. There's a big problem in here, and what I'm about to say can sound that I'm saying that women have no agency. But I need you to listen to maybe a couple minutes while I elaborate this. Imagine a girl who is 14 or 15 years old. We know that that was the sweet spot for Jeffrey Epstein. That's what the reports say, that was the sweet spot for Jeffrey Epstein's liking. And you are taken from, you're going to prey on vulnerable girls. You're going to go for vulnerable homes, or broken homes, and divorced parents. That's the manipulator's handbook. And you go for those girls, you ask them, you just have to give Jeffrey a massage. Maybe the first time, maybe the second time, it's just a massage as well. She gets paid, she gets money, she enjoys that, she comes back. And then the third time is more like than a massage, the kind of massage that you're thinking. And the fourth time, they, let's say there's a statutory rape, right? That is the term, okay? And it happens. And the problem with this is that you have like this ramp into how to manipulate the girl, who is, of course, immature, 14 to 15 years old, into accepting this. And a girl that comes from a vulnerable family, and she's a vulnerable herself, that is vulnerable psychologically, it would be easier to do this. And you basically, when she needs money, because she's enjoying the money, she's going to go back to Epstein. And I certainly, again, won't blame anyone, because I don't know the circumstances of their lives. Because the idea of a manipulator is to go for the most vulnerable people. So the girl comes back maybe once every couple months to do the thing with Jeffrey, until she becomes an adult, and maybe she's not that attractive to Jeffrey anymore. Maybe she's still attractive to Jeffrey. We don't know. And Jeffrey says, you know how you can make more money? You can tell your friends. You can, tell more girls to come here. And by that point, after years of conditioning of this guy, there's a brainwashing involved. She begins doing the deeds. I'm not saying that every single victim is going to go through this. But I'm saying that if you pick the right victim, the process is basically has been repeated many times, millions of times through the history of humanity, both with girls and boys as well. So that's one thing. So that is the complexity of this. That you can't just jump. Oh yeah, they were traffickers as well. Yeah, they might have been traffickers at 19 years old, 20 years old, but do you know what happened 5 years before that? We don't know. We don't exactly know. We don't know what were their circumstances. We don't know what brought them to Jeffrey in the first place. We don't know how Jeffrey treated them. You know how many of these diaries and photos and letters to Jeffrey, how nice you are for paying my tuition, for paying this. Maybe he, Jeffrey Epstein, for 1 or 2 years, not 1 or 2 years, maybe 6 months, he was this benefactor with them. And only then they began, ramping up the intensity of the manipulation. That can happen. So I can't, knowing human nature, I have been studying human nature for decades. I have been studying men and women for decades. at every age, the development of the psyche, and how people can be manipulated into doing terrible things, and how they feel that they simply can't get out of that cycle. All they should have known. It's more complicated than they should have known. But again, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Bottle Language Guy. Much love.